Okay, today we're going to do the review on the Empire Mini GS. The Empire Mini GS came out a few months ago, beginning of 2014, and this is the follow-up to the wildly successful Mini that they've had out now for I think almost 6 years. At first glance, you're going to just take a look at this gun and you're just going to see the rubber foregrip, but there's a lot more into this gun over the traditional Mini that they've improved on and stuff like that. The first thing that they did was they used, if you remember, you're starting to see different parts of the Empire technology portfolio all starting getting incorporated into this. The first thing you're going to notice is that if you know the Empire Vanquish, one cool thing about the Empire Vanquish is it uses the same Allen key for most of the screws that are on the gun. Okay, so for your regulator adjustment, for the back here, both of those use the same Allen key. The older Mini, even the Axe, uses 2 different Allen keys. On this one, you use the same one. That's a really neat improvement. You only have to carry 1 Allen key up to the chronograph instead of 2 if you're adjusting your back cap and your reg pressure. Second thing you're going to notice too about this, which is awesome, which is what I think made the Axe so successful, is that it now has the on-off ASA. Okay, if you remember, I doubt you do, but 6 years ago I did the video on the Mini. It didn't have an on-off ASA. So, I told people one thing you really want to get is you want to get yourself some tri-flow, put it on the threads around the O-rings of your tank, so when you screw it into your Mini ASA, the old one, it makes it easier to screw in because it's a pressure, you're screwing it in, it gets all that pressure once the pin gets pressed. The new Mini GS has the on-off ASA, which is great. You can degas your gun, stuff like that. The other thing they did was they went away from I believe it was a Hall sensor, which is a magnet. Basically what it is how the old Mini triggers worked was, it's called a Hall sensor, but what it is 2 pieces of metal that are very, very close to each other. And when you get a magnet close to them, it brings the 2 pieces of metal together. And that's what the old trigger on the Mini was. And it worked fine, it worked great. But the new Mini GS has a Microswitch Trigger, which is something that we all love and enjoy. It gives you that click, that positive feedback, that little bit of spring tension to kick it back. It's got the Microswitch just like the Axe does. And the most important thing that it has now, which is really nice, is the new feed neck. This feed neck is the same feed neck that's found on the Axe, the carbon fiber edition, and the red limited edition Axe OLED. Those are both almost $700 markers. You have the new clamping feed neck. It's externally adjustable, and the old one's just simply screwed down. And if yours happened to be a little bit off to the side, well, it just happened to be a little bit off to the side when it got screwed down. The new one, it's like the Planet Eclipse feed necks. Or the MacDev feed necks. You've got a pipe. You've got the part that screws under the gun, and the clamping feed neck that screws over the top of it. So you can make sure that your clamping feed neck's adjusted on there perfectly. And like I said, it's externally adjustable, just like the high-end edition Axes. The red LED, the Axe PDD actually doesn't have the external adjustment. Doesn't have this, but the red carbon fiber and the carbon fiber and the red limited edition both have this clamping feed neck. Something else you can see now that they're starting to take advantage of some of that smart parts technology. If you don't know, Key acquired quite a few of the patents from smart parts, GOG. The new barrels look amazing on these. Okay, the new barrels have huge ports on them, which is obviously the smart parts patent. You can see the porting on the barrels is just awesome. Makes the gun a little bit quieter. But that's pretty much it in regards to the overview of some of the improvements over it. I do find it in the hands. It feels a little bit bigger, just slightly bigger than the old Mini. What's the biggest difference that you're going to get between the Mini GS and the Axe? Well, the biggest thing is the operating pressure. The Mini GS does not have the bigger volume chamber around the bolt that the Axe does. Okay, so the Axe tends to run at a slightly lower pressure, or has the ability to run at a slightly lower pressure than the Mini GS. The Mini GS, there's nothing wrong with it, but you do notice that the Mini GS, you may be running at 180 to 200 psi, as opposed to with the Axe, you might be able to get it down to between 160 to 180 psi. For that trade-off, we'll weigh it here. The Mini GS is lighter than the Axe. Okay, so it's it's not as big in the back, but it's also lighter than the Axe. Let's see if we're tear it out here. Yep, we are. Okay. Okay. So the Mini GS is weighing in at just under 2 pounds. 1 pound, 14.8 ounces. So 1 pound, 14.8 ounces. Now at the time of this filming, which is the beginning of September 2014, they have not released yet the bezel for the OLED boards, okay? The OLED boards are available. It's the same Redline OLED board that you can find that comes with the Axes. But they're still working on the bezel. I have one. This is a prototype that I was sent from Key. Works great, so they need to just release it because it works great. It fits in there perfect and everything. But if you read the literature that comes with it, it says you can put the OLED board in here without changing out the grip. Well, that's true, but they haven't released the bezel yet. Okay, the bezel is a piece that goes over the top, kind of like a watch. You know, it's what protects the hands on a watch. When they do sell the OLED kits for the GS, it's not going to be the Axe with all the hardware on it. It's just going to be the board and the bezel. That's all you're going to need to buy. So I'm hoping that it's going to be a little bit cheaper. If you decide to go the OLED route, it makes it a little bit easier to change modes and stuff like that. Even though the LED board works just fine. So if you're on a budget and you pick this gun up and you don't really need to spend the money on the OLED board, it's just nice to have the features right there instead of having to reference the manual. But if all you play is PSP 12.5 balls per second, you're not switching back and forth between semi-auto to run drills or play against different groups of people, stuff like that, then you're not really going to get your use out of the OLED board. But the gun shoots just fine with the stock board. All right, let's talk about some potential problems that some people have had with them. I have heard some people have some solenoid leaks in there. That's very simply you unscrew the grip and you can adjust how the ASA goes up into the solenoid. These guns tend to be very binary, okay? They work perfectly or they don't. And they're all mass produced overseas, China, Taiwan, stuff like that. So if your gun doesn't work perfect out of the box, just send it in right into Paintball Solutions. If you hear burping, squirt, squeaking, whatever, if it's not shooting perfectly out of the box, there's something wrong with it. Send it into Paintball Solutions. They fix your gun really quick and send it right back. It doesn't need to be broken in or any of that stuff. These guns either work perfect or they don't. So if there's something weird about your gun, you get some weird inconsistency, some red creep, any of that crap, just send it right into Paintball Solutions. They'll fix it for you. It's probably just something that just, as they're mass producing these things, they do run into some issues. So let me show you how to take the bolt apart really quick. And it's just real simple. We drop the screw out of the back. Now the bolt uses a special screw. It doesn't look like any other screw that's inside of the gun kit. And the problem with that is if you lose the screw, you're not going to be able to get your bolt back in. It's threaded up to a point, and then it's just aluminum. It's just like almost like aluminum pipe, but it's a very special bolt. Okay, that's it. So there's your bolt. Sometimes your spring can come out, sometimes it won't. Not a big deal. You can use whatever your favorite lube is. It comes with lube inside of the box, and that's it for taking apart the bolt. Very, very simple. Now it does have, the regulator is a sealed regulator. Empire does not want you taking these things apart. If you do take it apart, it'll void your warranty. But I will do a show showing you how to take apart these regulators. It takes special tools. You can pick them up. Paintball Gateway, I believe, sells what's called a relay toolkit. Paintball Gateway sells them for about $50. You can find them. I think Boss Paintball also sells them for like $50. It's got the special tool that goes in there, and the 3.5 millimeter socket wrench that you need to go in on the other side to take this apart. So it's not that hard to take it apart, but once you take it apart, you do void your warranty. So you want to warn you about that ahead of time, and it does take special tools. Other than that, a drop of oil in here about every 2 or 3 cases, and that's all the maintenance that you really need to do to these guns. So let's go ahead and do the the efficiency test, and that'll wrap up the video. Okay, we're about to do the efficiency test on the new Mini GS, and hopefully you see there we're sitting at 4,121 psi on the gauge. It's about where they're filling at today. So let's go ahead and chrono. Okay, hopefully you can see that. First shot of the chrono 291. Second shot 294. So we're sitting right in the
Low 290s, it looks like.
Ten, 11.
11 pods.
All right, so I'll do our conclusion really quick. What I think of it for, for what they're selling for these guns, and they've also got laser eyes. For what they're selling these guns for right now, which is in the high $300, it's a steal. It really is a steal. Okay, so you're getting kind of neat things from the Vanquish with the same Allen keys to adjust both your poppet tension and also your regulator. You get the new clamping feed neck. You get a huge ported barrel. In regards to the porting that's on it, makes the gun really, really quiet. Nice, comfortable front rubber grip. Like I said, it's not as big as an axe. It is smaller than an axe, but it is slightly bigger than the old minis. On-off ASA on it, and you're getting all this for under $400 with the new clamping feed neck. So these guns are steals. I really think these guns are absolute steals. I love mine. I had no problems with it. Used it at EMR. I've used it locally. It shoots great, and you're getting a gun that's under 2 pounds, which is right at the super gun area. That's where most of the more expensive guns are going for right now, under 2 pounds, which is probably about, I think it's 5 to 6 ounces lighter than the axe. So yeah, you don't get to run it as low of a pressure, but it still sounds great when you're shooting it, and it still shoots great. You got the Microswitch now instead of the Hall sensor, which makes the trigger feel amazing. The triggers on these triggers on the axe and also this Mini and the Mini GS are great triggers. Rounded off, no side-to-side play. Good adjustment. You got post, pre, activation point, and magnet. You've got everything you need now to design your trigger to be super fast when you're out there playing. So I don't know. I definitely recommend this gun. I liked it. I really liked it a lot. Everybody I've let use it have really liked it. I mean, they do say that it is on the smaller side. I mean, obviously it's called a Mini, so I wouldn't expect this thing to be huge like a DM14. But when you're in the hands, especially if you're playing airball and you're constantly dumping pods and you're shooting with one hand most of the time anyway, it's really not that big of a deal. But I definitely recommend these guns right now. For the high $300, it's a great shooting gun. You saw the efficiency on it was great. That's about all I can say for a Mini GS. If you've been considering getting one, go pick one up. It's great for the price. Thank you very much.